now you're ruining the whole introduction thing. But anyway, I know we're off to do a good job today, and again, just continue to pray for Ralph and be attentive. Ralph, it's all yours.
All right. I didn't know if I'd ever do this or not, but I am today. It's going to be a first for me. There's lots of things that I've done at first, and I guess I had to wait 67 years to do that. So, when I was in high school, I wrote an essay in one of my English classes, and I came back and I got an A on it, surprisingly. And it was about the earth and just how little we are in relationship to the universe. If you go and you look at the sky at night, you just marvel at the stars. You just marvel at them. So anyway, in my paper, I said, and this, of course, you know how long ago that was last week. And I can't hardly remember yesterday instead of, when I was 19 or 18. I said the earth is sort of like a little dust particle floating in the air. And apparently the teacher liked it because if I remember right, I got at least a B plus or an A, and that was uncommon for me. So, but at the time you go, how minute the earth is comparison to the universe. So today we're going to learn a little bit about that. And my title of my sermon is, Does God Really Exist? And I think after we put this all together, it's going to be a no-brainer. Because we're going to see how important we are as people, what it takes for life to exist. We have a Sunday school lesson that has touched that in so many of his sessions on human life and how we got to be here. So, of course, in the very beginning is Genesis, and I'm going to read from Genesis 1 through 13. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Right off the bat, it tells who created everything. And the earth was formless and void. So there wasn't anything that we had on the earth. It didn't have the crust to create vegetation. It didn't have any of that. And the earth was formless and void. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And of course, that would be the sun. And God saw the light was good, and God separated light from the darkness, which would be the rotation of our earth as the earth rotates. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And then there was evening, and then there was morning, one day. Then God said, "Let there be an expanse of the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And God made the expanse and separated the waters which were below the expanse from the waters, which were above the expanse, and it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was an evening, and then there was a morning, on the second day. Then God said, "Let the waters below the heavens be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear," and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and its gathering of the water he called the seas. God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth sprout out vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit after their kind, with seed in them on the earth," and it was so. And the earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed after their kind, and the trees bearing fruit, the seed in them with their kind. And God saw that it was good. And then there was evening, and then there was morning on the third day. Now, in order for us to have life, everything has to be working together, not against each other. We have to have the moon. We have to have the rotation of the earth. We have to have the magnetic field that the earth is creating to protect us from radiation. We need to have a dynamic geology, which is our earth's crust all around the earth. If we didn't have the topsoil and the subsoil to have our plant vegetation survive, we would be lost. As a matter of fact, this spring, it is so hard for the farmers to get a crop in the ground that there are lots of farmers out there that didn't get anything planted. Nothing. I've never seen a year like this, but let me tell you, God is in control and man is not. And later on you'll see why. We have an atmosphere that is conducive to life. Do you know that there is radiation from our sun, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, that is so far away, it takes 500 seconds for the sunlight to get from the sun to the earth. 500 seconds. Remember, 1 second at the speed of light is 186,000 miles per second. The sun is that far away. We have to have that atmosphere working in our favor for us to be here. If we don't have the upper atmosphere protecting us from the rays from the sun, we would be cooked. We need isolation from the other planets, which I didn't realize this. We need to be separated from the other planets just far enough so that we can stay in the orbits and not have a gravitational pull toward them, or them on us. We have a gravitational pull from the moon because of the tides. I mean, if you really wanted to think about this, how did all this, I can't imagine creating this, how complex it would be to have all this being done. And of course we have to have the heat from the sun that is so many miles away that just that heat, that sun is what generates our weather. If you have sunspots, or if you have anything in the sun that is sun flares, influences our climate. The timing had to be right. Now I don't know what time that was, I don't know how many years ago it was, but let me tell you, when God created this earth, it was a void, it was nothing. We have to have neighbors of other planets, and I'm going to pick on one of them, Jupiter. Jupiter is there for more than just a reason. It will attract asteroids, and it can accept them. And if there's an asteroid that happens to come by, guess where it's likely to hit? Jupiter. All right. Now I'm going to read 14 to about 23. Then God said, "Let there be light in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for the signs and for the seasons, for the sun, or for the days and the years. Let them be for the light in the expanse of the heaven, and to give light to the earth." And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the great light to govern the day, and the lesser light to govern the night, which of course is the moon. That's the moonlight. He made the stars also. He made the stars also. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And God placed them in the expanse of heaven to give them the light on the earth, and to govern the day and the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And then there was evening, and then there was morning on the fourth day. Then God said, let the waters teem with swarms of living creatures, let the birds fly above the earth in the open expanse of the heaven. And God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, with which the water swarmed after their kind, and every winged bird and after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters of the sea, and let the birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning on the fifth day. This church isn't wide enough to do what I wanted to do this morning, but it's going to be close. Michael, I got here early and I measured from the center of the church to the wall, and I measured that way to the wall, and it wasn't long enough. It takes 500 seconds for the sunlight to get from the sun to the earth. Do you have any distance how far that is? 186,000 miles per second. And it takes 500 seconds. So from now, I'm going to have some help with this too. Colleen complained about my basketball because it's dirty. But it's not a basketball. This is the sun. Okay? See it? Everybody see it? All right? In reality, it should be in here somewhere. Okay? But since our church isn't big enough, we're going to place it right there. Can you all see that? That's the sun. We can look up there and we can see it. Do you know how huge it is? All right, Michael, do you want to bring up one of your instruments I gave you? And then, yeah. Michael, call him Atlas, because today he's going to show you the earth. Ready? If you can't see it, it's a meeting. He is very strong this morning. He's going to place it at the far side of the church. He's going to leave about 2 inches from the wall. There's a reason for that. You can go ahead and place it on top of the Bible.
Oh, like on the corner rolling off.
He did say you were going to be a magician.
Okay. Can you all see that earth? No. No. It's just a tiny little thing. 500 seconds, that light is going to get over to here. Every inch is going to represent 186,000 miles per second. It's going to take us, I've got it here, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. 8 minutes. If somebody wanted to start a stopwatch right here, it's going to take 8 minutes and 20 seconds once that light leaves that earth to get to the earth. You know how long that is? That's a long time. In 1 second, the speed of light is going to go around this earth 7 1/3 times. 1001, 1002. It's already went around the earth 7 times. That only represents 1 inch out of 500. Just to give you some idea what kind of heavens and how far away we are from the stars. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit. All right, Ralph, you want to bring up your moon? Okay, Ralph is going to grab the moon here. He's got several to choose from. He's going to place that about 1.25 inches away from the Earth, because it takes about 1.3 seconds from the sunlight to get from the Earth to the moon. It's that far away. It's about 200,000 miles in 1 second. I should have had you hold it up. Of course, you wouldn't be able to see it because it's so little. Now, the moon that he just put up there, you can put 50 of those moons inside the Earth. 50 of his little grain of sand, 50 of them is going to go inside that Earth, that little BB that Michael took up there. Now we're going to take that Earth, and it's going to go inside the sun. How many do you think of those is going to go inside the sun? You better guess high. 1.3 million Earths is going to go inside the sun. I don't even think if we had BBs, we could fit 1.3 million BBs into that basket. What do you think, Michael? How many is in that pack of BBs? Pack?
350.
350. So,
And it's only 3/4 full.
okay. I don't know if it took some out of it.
You must have used some.
It's astronomical how big that sun is. And let me tell you, there are bigger planets out there than that sun. There are so many things happening out in space, it just boggles your mind. All right, so now we've got that. It takes, when you go out farther, they have the Milky Way galaxy, or their nearest galaxy. There is 200, and these are all estimates, 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy itself. Those are numbers that's mind-boggling. There are approximately, and you think this number is low, 100 billion galaxies. We're getting into numbers that are just astronomical here. All right, I'm going to read you. I got it right here. I hope I do. In Psalms, it talks about God, and it talks about in 147, and it says, He counts the number of the stars, and He gives names to all of them. Well, let me tell you, if we are anywhere close to knowing how many stars there are, it's a 1 or a 2 with 23 zeros after. I can't even remember my neighbor's name, let alone knowing all the stars' names. Do you have any idea how you would get a name for all of them?
I think you'd need a bigger alphabet.
I think you would need to have some kind of a system that's better than ours. All right. He gives names to all of them. Great is our Lord and abundant in strength. His understanding is infinite. It would have to be. Also too, in Psalms 148, and the title or the caption of this, the whole creation invoked the praise to the Lord. Praise to the Lord from the heavens. Praise Him in the heights. Praise Him all His angels. Praise Him all His hosts. Praise Him the sun and the moon. Praise Him all stars of light. Praise Him highest heavens and the waters that are above the heavens. And let them praise the name of the Lord, for He has commanded, and they were created. He has also established them forever and ever. He has made a decree which will not pass away. That's in the Psalms. My guess is, and I've told this to some other people, the other day I was talking to my cat. And I told my cat, I said, you know, that's a car out there, and you have to have gasoline, and you have to have air, and you have to have an engine, and you have to have a steering wheel, and you have to have a body for you to sit in. And I said, you've got to have spark in the engine, you've got to have compression. That cat looked up at me and said, what are you talking about? And that's how God is with us. We don't have any idea how this all started, what the knowledge He has to create all this stuff. And in the very beginning of Genesis, He said He created all of it. His knowledge is infinite. We're at a place where He could try to tell us, and we'd be like that cat. We just couldn't take it. We couldn't understand it. All right. There are a lot of other things on this earth that are special, and they have life. And they wouldn't have life if they wasn't created so that they could survive. And I'm going to list a few of them here, okay? We have seeds that automatically know when they should germinate. If you plant a corn seed, it doesn't germinate until it gets 50 degrees. The soil temperature has to be 50 degrees before that corn plant wants to grow. Once it gets hit that point, that corn seed will start to grow. Every seed is different. Some seeds germinate a lot colder. Oats you can plant when the ground is cold, and then it will just take right off. Every seed is different. Bees. Do you know that bees, honeybees, will leave their hive and search for the honey or the pollen? And once one bee finds that pollen, it will fly back to the honey hive, and it will dance in front of the other bees to tell them where that pollen is at. They have a communication too. It's amazing at how that bee can tell the other bees to fly, and they aren't exactly sure. Science doesn't know exactly sure how it happened, but they've studied the bees, and the bees are dancing in front of them, and those other bees know where to go. Last I knew, I didn't think a bee was very smart, but that's pretty smart to me. Hurricanes. What do you think makes a hurricane? Anybody here can tell me?
Cold water hitting warm water.
Yes. Where?
It's in the Atlantic. Off the equator.
In the oceans.
Off the equator, yeah.
Yeah, off the equator in the ocean. Tom got it right. It all has to do with the temperature of the ocean water and the temperature of a cold front hitting that moist, warm air. And then all of a sudden a hurricane is growing. Now, that hurricane is warmed by what? Right over here. Can you even see the earth? And yet the warmth from that sun, which is a little tiny speck, is warming that water. Mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are a pesky little creature. They can drive you nuts. Some people are more attracted to mosquitoes than others. Something about their body that the mosquito is attracted to. But the carbon dioxide that we're giving off, a mosquito can hone in on that like 30 feet away. And then they can't see you, but after they get within several feet from you, then they can see you. Then they fly on you, and have you ever watched them walk on your arm? Have you ever watched them walk on your arm? You know what they're doing? They can put their beak any place they want to, but they are knowing where your pulse is and where the nearest blood vessel is so that they can hit it. Otherwise, you won't get anything. They're able to sense the blood that's in underneath your skin. Bats are flying, and they use some sort of a sound clicking mechanism so that they know where they're flying, and they eat mosquitoes while they're flying. It's amazing. Butterflies. The monarch butterfly can travel from down in Mexico, travel up north, have, I believe it's 3 times of the life cycle, and the offspring up north knows how to get back to the same place in Mexico. How'd that happen? I can't tell you. Michael talked about a kangaroo. How a kangaroo can have its little one, a joey, and all it takes for it to survive, and how it does that. It's an instinct. Spider webs are so much stronger than a steel brand of cable for the same thickness. I didn't look it up, but if you could wrap an inch spider web into a brand, like a steel cable would be, how strong it would be, it's like 20 times stronger than steel. And the last one is June. We're in June. Anybody here have any apple trees? Nobody's got apple trees? Have you looked at your apple tree lately?
Well, I've mowed past them. But they're small, so they're not happy.
There's no apples on them? All right. I won't see it. June drop. Anybody here know what June drop is? An apple tree will put on blossoms. Too many blossoms for the tree. And in June, that tree is going to decide how many apples I'm going to keep. And it's going to be the weather, the fertilization, where the next tree is. And it's going to decide how many apples it can put on that tree. Because if it keeps too many of them, it can kill the tree. My tree right now, in June drop, has apples all over the bottom of the ground, where that tree has decided that it can't keep all those apples. And that's all instilled. That's all instilled by our Creator. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm sure from when I started, it's been 8 minutes to go from there to there. But that's just how far away the sunlight is. We just need to know that God does exist. There's so many things that have happened that we are not just a chance that God, an accident out here, and that when you realize around you what it took to be here, you're going to say, God created us. Do you know there's a life going on out there in the grass? You've got ants. You've got all kinds of little creatures. You've got ticks. They had a show on it was a PBS channel, but they was examining the tick. And guess what they found on the tick? Another tick. Another tick. A host that was living off of that tick. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, that's it. I hope that pretty much concludes my sermon. I hope if you didn't learn anything, I didn't have to lock the doors. Just remember how big that sun is. And it takes 500 seconds to get to the earth. And God is creating all of our, He's in control, not man. I don't think we're in a global cooling. I don't think we're in a global warming. He's in control because it doesn't, if that sun was literally 4 foot closer, because it is 4 foot closer than it should be, what's it going to do to that earth? It's going to raise the temperature. If our temperature just raises a couple degrees, guess what happens? Probably all the ice will melt on the Antarctic. It's going to change everything. You start warming that planet up more. So we are just in a perfect place for life to exist. All right, we will turn to hymn number 266, and we'll sing all verses as we stand. Right?